Warning, the Spoilercast does contain spoilers of current and past movies, books, video, games, TV shows, and possibly your life. So if you're listening to a show called Spoilercast and you're pissed off that we gave away spoilers, we really don't care. Thanks again and have a wonderful day. Hello everyone and welcome to Spoilercast by All Tower Media. This is Alligator bringing you a new episode to talk about the new season of the Adult Swim gem of a show, Rick and Morty. For those of you that haven't heard, D.A. Roberts has book 5 out for the Ragnarok Rising series, and coming soon is book number 2 of the Lost Legion series, taking place in the Infinite Black series. Make sure to check out our website, alltowerpodcast.com, as well as visit our Facebook page and Instagram at All Tower Media. Be sure to visit our friends with Flick Freaks at all social medias except MySpace. Watch for Let's Plays with All Tower Media, Flick Freaks, and Spellbook. Oh, what's that smell, kids? Your shit's about to get spoiled.
Hey, this is Roper over here at All Tower Media.
Oh, God.
So, I don't. If none of you know what that is, you need to watch the crazy Conor McGregor "Give Me Your Belt." Is "Give Me Your Belt."
That liquefied my brain.
Oh no, but it's so funny. It's so funny. So, the voice you're hearing right now is Allie.
Hi.
You're back.
I'm back.
Oh my God.
I know.
Like, I'm super stoked about you being here right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Was I really that missed that much?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Oh. Now, we are.
You made my feeling happy.
Fuck you! Give me your belt. Give me your belt. So, but we don't have Jareth tonight.
I know.
He ran away to Tulsa. He'll be
Dick.
back. He'll be back.
He better be.
Well, he said he had like 2-something hours worth of nonsense to get done, and then he'd be back. But joining us tonight, we have Mr. Ledge. How are you?
Oh, just swell.
Oh, good.
Just swell. How about
Good.
yourself? How are you tonight?
You know, my tummy hurts a little bit. I had a little bit of extra sandwich, and probably shouldn't have.
Too much sandwich.
Too much sandwich. It's a delicious sandwich.
You should give me your belt.
I had to take my belt off. No,
Why did I come back?
Because you're here. It's like Sean said the last couple of times he's been on. He's just here for sitting in the comment or sitting in the gallery and listening to all the comments because it's actually quite a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I had too much sandwich over at Firehouse Sub.
Was it at least a good sandwich?
Oh, it was a delicious sandwich.
All right, then.
A wonderfully delicious sandwich. Hey, Dire Monkey.
Yo.
How are you?
Peachy.
Good. How's
Yeah.
things over here at Spellbook Studios?
Things is good.
Yeah?
Yep. Dyer's out on Steam. Getting
Yay!
quite a
Good
few
boy.
players.
Mr. Ledge the Tank over here has been thrown down on it every once in a while.
That's what he said. I told him to shoot me a message when
Yeah.
he's in game.
Anyone and everyone should check that game out. It is an insane amount of fun.
Yep. And we just added a new world map that's all pretty and shit. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We like pretty and shit.
I know, right?
That's why you have me here.
It looks like a
Hey.
goddamn
Pretty
game
and
map right
it,
now.
You know, it does definitely increase the overall, like,
Prettiness factor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm slowly working on a little bit of a beard, and I'm going to try to catch up with Mr. Dire Monkey and Mr. Ledge over here.
Oh, good luck.
That's my goal.
Al's going to be super excited to hear that you're growing a beard, though.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's
Has
started.
Al ever even seen you with a beard?
No, this is the first time I've ever had
Oh
the
my
opportunity.
God.
I'm excited to see you with a beard.
Right?
It's quite liberating. 'cause
I know.
This is like the first time I've been able to grow a beard.
I'm going to laugh if you end up with those patches where hair just doesn't grow.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Like, I'm doing reading and stuff.
I'm not hoping that you're going to end up with it. I'm just saying that if you do, I'm going to laugh.
This
Don't
morning,
you put that on me.
don't you put that bad juju on me. No, this morning I actually got off work and I came home and I'm like, this whisker digging into the edges of my lip. And I'm like, I'm standing here with scissors in the mirror trying to figure out how to get them trimmed. I'm like, I finally got it. I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable now. Finally. So I keep, like, I'm sitting at work just kind of scratching the lower section of my face. I'm like, I love this. It's going to be great.
Wait till it gets longer and you can run your
Oh,
fingers
I know.
through it.
It's
Dude,
gonna be-
I play with my beard so
I
much.
know
I'm
you
just
do.
like constantly like,
Anytime,
No.
you look like a wizard half the time. Anytime we're out at like,
Don't tell Jareth that.
Yeah, well, Jareth is the perpetual wizard,
Right.
but he won't grow a beard.
Well, he's dumb.
He's like, I can't. It just comes in like in little sections, scraggly.
Are you going to let your hair grow out, or are you going to keep it short?
I might get the back of it trimmed because it's getting a little scraggly down here on the back.
Hipster beard and a man
keep
bun.
It clean.
Yeah, I want to get it
keep
clean.
your edges clean.
Yeah. But I definitely want it longer. So.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so weird.
Oh yeah, you have no idea. Because like I said, when I play, I guess now's a good time to do this because by the time this episode will come up the weekend after I'm already done over there at county.
That's true.
I have put in my notice over at county, and I am starting myself a new job.
Congratulations, good sir.
I wish I had some sound effects for that.
We got applause.
Right. Ironic.
So, but yeah, we had. I had my good run over there, almost 10 years. I've got 10 years in law enforcement.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I did.
And you're still alive, and you don't have any major injuries.
Well,
that's impressive.
major injuries I could debate. Not major injuries like that guy, which leads me to the story I want to tell, which leads me straight into Rick and Morty.
Okay.
So,
I can't wait to see these connections.
Oh, no, it's going to be wonderful.
If it weren't for my horse, I wouldn't have spent that year in college.
Hey, you of all people know how I can stream stories together end to end.
I do.
That's one half the reason. He was like, hey, you want to come over and host Spellbook Studios Spellcast? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, well, it's like, okay, so whenever I'll get to that story in just a half a second, but it made me think of this.
He's proving his point right now.
Yeah,
I know.
This is it. So back whenever I was first planning on doing this Spoilercast, he gets a hold of me. He's like, hey, one thing you need to know about doing podcast work and stuff like this is you don't want a whole lot of dead air. He's like, but you're going to be hosting, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, so you're going to be talking? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, then you're not going to have to worry about dead air. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Because he's like, you just talk constantly.
You just talk.
Yeah, that's what I do. I don't like awkward silences. I'm just always like, well, fire.
You must have been totally like
Herpa
Herpa dinosaur.
derpa dinosaur.
You must have been flabbergasted during Craig Ferguson's moment of silence. Awkward pauses.
That's as long as those awkward pauses get right there.
Nice.
So back to what I was going to say. We're talking about Rick and Morty. Season 3 dropped. They didn't say a fucking word about it. Like at all.
Really?
Yeah. Like I sent everybody and their brother. I sent him a text message. I sent you a text message. I sent everybody I could think of that was like, do these people watch this show? Do these people watch? I'm pretty sure these people watch this show. And I'm like, Rick and Morty. I'm like, turn on TV like right now. I just happened to have turned the TV on.
And I didn't believe you.
I know.
Like
no one did.
I didn't. I'm like,
no one did.
You're full of shit, man.
No one did.
Don't lie to me.
No one did. I was like, oh my God, fucking Cartoon Network right now. Turn it on. It's like Rick and Morty's on right now. Cause like I kicked it on. And now here's the deal. I didn't like this show to begin with. I'll own that. I didn't. Like when it first launched, I was like, no, the art style doesn't look like it's for me. I've seen some of the content as far as Rick doing his drunk burp and all that good stuff, and I'm like, eh. And I was totally against it, And Josh was like, you're an idiot. It's super wonderful. And I watched like one episode, and I'm like, eh. Yeah. Then I finally burned through an entire season. I'm like, eh. And then I burned through a second season. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what happened. I love this show. And it's
I don't watch it.
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
It is.
I do have the one episode in
so
Unity
good.
that I've seen like
brilliantly.
I've seen that one like 3 times, but that's the only episode I've ever seen. I don't know why I've seen that one 3 freaking times.
The first episode is where my overlap story comes with Ledge.
Okay.
Because I don't think we ever discussed this or not, but Ledge, what do you do for a living?
What do I do now, or what did I do during? Like,
what were you doing then?
I was up in the high steel of a venue, and I was rigging some points up.
But what your job is you work with like audio and lighting
production from like theatrical Broadway plays to corporate events to concerts, all that fun stuff.
So you were up in the ceiling,
pretty much, yeah,
way up on
above, about 15 feet above the ceiling that most people see, like the drop tile ceiling.
Yeah, okay,
way up there.
So when we're sitting down in the audience and we're looking up, that's the ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. But there's more room up there.
Oh, I know.
Because there are like these big I-beams that are up there that oftentimes we tie into in order to be able to hang all of the rigging and things of that nature. Because I work with you on occasion.
Oh yeah,
doing similar work.
I actually know a bit about stuff like that. My dad used to work at a Playhouse in West Covina, which is in California.
Oh, very nice.
He did sound there
for
a number of years for many big plays.
Sound guy.
Very nice.
Sound guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
That's Mr. Legend.
Now, granted, my dad worked with soundboards mostly, but he did help set shit up. So I used to watch plays from the wing, which is always fucking awesome.
So here's him, gracefully, nimbly bimbly, diving through the
Drinking milk from a saucer.
Yeah,
quick like cat. Yeah,
absolutely.
Barrel rolling around up there in the heavens, and regrettably, this fallen angel had to disconnect his safety harness.
Oh no!
And was attempting to move to another area to reconnect
said
your safety harness. Yeah, but that was the design flaw of where you were at, right?
Yes.
It was like, this is how this is done.
Yep.
So you just had, there was no options. You had to remove yourself from the safety harness.
It was probably like a 1 second exchange. Like I had unclipped. I needed to take like one step and I could clip back in.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
But how'd that work out for you?
Well, okay. So let me give you a little bit of backstory. Actually, it's not that much backstory. Like I'm a big dude. Like I weigh a lot. I'm a relatively large fellow.
Tank.
Yeah.
He's wearing a shirt that says tank.
Yes.
For sure. So what I was walking on was like a 2x6 wooden board, like a plank.
Yeah, that's gonna hold you up.
Oh, totally. Yeah, not a problem. So as I had like unclipped my safety, I needed to take a step across the board to clip back in on the other side. And as I took the step, and there was this like moment of like
the whole world
like a
freezes.
crazy, frozen like cathartic moment because I heard the board snap. Like start snapping like as I'm stepping, and I just like.
Did you do that run in midair like you see in cartoons?
No. Okay. I was at the ground really before I fully. I mean, I knew what happened, but I hit the ground very fast.
Oh, I'm sure.
How far did you fall?
It's like right at 30 feet.
Oh,
how'd that work out for you?
Turned my right elbow into dust. It was like 19 different chips was what made up the whole elbow movie joint thing.
That's a lovely little scar.
I was about to say, you see that big old scar on the back of his arm there?
Yeah, to form like a fish to fix it.
I say little scar, but it goes from like the middle of the back of his bicep all the way down to the middle of his forearm.
Yeah. Broke my jaw in 4 places. Ended up getting a couple like pulmonary emboli out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could have walked out worse.
So
for sure, but it was not fun.
So did you black out anything like that when you hit the ground? I mean,
negatory Ghost Rider.
Okay, so how bad were you? How bad were you hurting at that point?
At that point, I was hurting decently bad. It was more so like I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Like I kind of laid there on the ground for 30 minutes, like making these like what I've been told like horrible blood curdling moans.
Oh God.
like something like kind of mummy-ish.
Oh God.
If you can imagine. Like, cause I'm unable to move because I'm laying there on my side. Yeah, it was. I mean, there was plenty of pain. Don't get me wrong.
And especially when they tried to.
Oh no, this predates me.
Okay.
See, he had this happen. Then he bowed out of doing this style of work for a little while. And then I just happened to have started working over there at the same company that he's at basically around the same time you came back, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Roughly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because you and I had met driving out at one point in time, and, he's got a screen on his cell phone that's Full Metal Alchemist. And I'm like,
nice.
Hell yeah, you're going to be like my best friend. I'm like, I don't care what's happening. You and I are going to find some nonsense to talk about. and that's kind of how it's been since then. Yeah. You just kind of draw to you the people that it's like, oh, you got similar interests with me. You and I are going to be buddies.
Yeah.
But he told that story at one point in time. And then I was like, oh, we're going to talk about Rick and Morty. And he's totally on board with Rick and Morty.
I love that show.
First episode, there's a moment where, okay, so you're introduced to these characters. Morty is sleeping when we first meet him, and Rick comes in drunk and
pulls him out of bed.
Literally drags him out of bed.
Like Morty's in his underwear. Even.
He drags him out by his foot.
That's not nice.
And so this is how you're introduced to these characters. And Rick's like talking about how he's going to blow up he's got a bomb. He's going to make this bomb.
He's going to start all over, Morty.
He's going to start it all over.
Blow up the earth.
Yep.
Wow.
He's like, and we're going to go over and we're going to get that girl, Jessica. And he's like Jessica from my math class? And he's
Jessica
like, yeah.
doesn't even know I exist.
He's like, well, I wanted to do something for you, and you're going to be the new Adam, and she can be Eve. And he's like, that's like, this is how you're introduced to these characters.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah. Well, then it goes into this next scene where he's like half awake at the table, and the whole episode goes on, and basically it's trying to make a setup to where it's like, okay, here's what Rick is, here's who Morty is, and this is kind of the family dynamic, right? Mm-hmm. And it sets that tone really well. But one of the scenes Rick pulls Morty out of school, and he's like, "We got to go get these seeds.
Mega seeds, Morty.
Mega seeds. They come from mega fruits.
Mega trees. And on those trees grows mega fruit. And inside of those fruit are seeds that I need, Morty. Grandpa needs them for his experiments."
And so but here's the problem.
Okay.
They're like this big. Okay.
Okay.
It's like a pine cone on steroids.
That's
it's
not
like-
a seed. That's a pit.
It's got a pointy end.
It's true. It
Yeah,
does.
and so he's got these 2 seeds, and they find them, and they're way down at the bottom of this cliffside. And he's like, "Oh, how are we going to get down there?" And he busts out these boots, and he's like, "These boots, you want to do the bit?"
Oh, yeah, he basically hands Morty these boots, and he's explaining, he's like, "Hey, Morty, you can just traverse any sort of like vertical surface easily with these boots. All you have to do is just put them on and walk down there, Morty. It's no big deal."
And fucking Morty puts them on, and then walks off the side of the cliff and falls and shatters the shit out of his legs.
Like,
Oh my
breaks his
God.
legs. They're like bent like 13 different ways.
He's just screaming, and of course he's like, "Oh my god!" And of course, Rick's like, "Let's go get the seeds," and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Look at my legs."
Well, yeah, like as he falls, like Rick is up on the cliff, and he's like, "Morty, you have to turn the shoes on, Morty. Morty, you have to turn them on." Like, I turned the shoes on and I walked down this cliff. It was a leisurely breeze.
Wow.
It's just, he's like, "See, it's totally fine." And
Maybe
of
you
course
should have
now
told him to turn them on before he put them on.
Yeah.
See, but that's the disconnect. Okay, later on in the series, Morty's dad, he's arguing. It's Morty's dad arguing with his wife Beth. It's Jerry and Beth. Okay,
Or Morty's parents.
it's Morty's
And
parents.
Rick is Beth's dad.
Right.
Okay.
And Jerry's looking at Beth during one of the episodes. Actually, I think it's my favorite episode. And he was like, "I've seen your dad temporarily forget the word for human." And then in that same episode, he's like, "You're a little
What's the word for it? Human.
Human.
Yeah, that's the Unity episode.
Yeah, that's the Unity episode.
I don't remember that
He's
part.
like, yeah. He's like, "I've seen your
I've
father."
never seen the very first moments of that episode. I've only seen when
man.
he's already on Unity or
so
with Unity. And
the end of that episode is like,
it's gut wrenching.
oh man,
It's
not-
hard.
it's not like bad, but
And the little bit that I
here's-
know of Rick and Morty, having seen that episode, it surprises me because I always think of Rick as just this crackpot guy that's might as well be on a plethora of drugs at any given point.
well, that is
You know?
It's
That's
true.
not
Like,
far from wrong.
So to see him get so down and depressed that he actually attempts suicide and then gets sadder when it fails, that's not the character that I.
Well, that's the thing. We don't really know much about Rick.
Yeah.
You know,
like there are hints throughout the series as they kind of allude to.
Yeah, I mean, they nod real hard at his past, right? Like towards the end of season 2, whenever you've got Bird Person, love Bird Person. He's literally, I mean, he's very dry. He's just like, "My name is Bird Person, and I'm from Bird World." Like he just
Sounds exciting.
Oh no, he's not.
gross,
He's super not.
Could you not hear the sarcasm?
No. But the thing is like he's actually a really fascinating character, even as 2-dimensional as he is.
Yep.
And it's how they portray it. Dan Harmon is like a genius. I'm convinced of this now. After watching this and Harmon Quest.
Oh yeah, Harmon Quest. Is solid.
Yeah, it's the best.
But dude, like the end of season 2, like Bird Person, one of the things that really kind of. There was multiple moments
During the
that
wedding?
kind of make him. Yeah, during the wedding, when he's talking to Morty, and he's like, "Morty, the path that your grandfather and I have walked down is soaked with the blood of friends and enemies."
He was saying it to Beth.
Or saying it to
because
Beth, that's right.
Beth's sitting here looking at him. She's like, because Beth,
Doesn't
her
know anything about
her dad, Rick, left when she was really young. She's been gone for like 20 years.
Oh wow.
And then it's like season 1 kicks off, and he had just come back into their life. That's the idea. He's been gone for a long time.
Okay.
He just came back. And you start to learn some things about them, kind of like he needs Morty because you find out that a Rick's genius can be detected, and he's literally a criminal against the federal
Galactic Federation.
Galactic Federation that's in this world, and so you can trace where they are based off of their brainwaves. Well, the bipolar opposite
Is
of
a Morty.
a Rick's intelligence is a Morty, and so they use them kind of like a cloaking device. So that's why Mortys have to be around Rick's, and that's why there's this connection there. Mortys basically don't want to go with Rick's, like at all. And you find out that this portal gun that he has opens up an infinite number of universes. And so there are an infinite number of Rick's and an infinite number of Mortys. And that's where a lot of all of this starts to come from, is these overlaps into these other universes and things of that nature. And the one we've been following around is Rick C-137.
Okay.
And that is our Rick. And we know this because he identifies himself as C-137. And then you actually, at one point in time, you find they have a space station of Ricks. It's
Council of Ricks.
It's the Council of Ricks.
Oh, Jesus.
And they refer to him as like the Citadel. And they're like, yeah, we can't allow Citadel secrets. And what I mean, it's like...
It's serious business.
As if one Rick wasn't bad enough.
Well, here's the thing. And they address it in the season premiere. Rick hates the government. He hates being told like what to do and when to do it and things of that nature.
And the only thing that Ricks hate more than that
is themselves. They hate the Rick C-137. They refer to him as
the rickiest Rick of all the
Ricks. The rickest Rick, and that means that the Morty that we're currently looking at is the Mortiest Morty. Which there's some speculation because one of the episodes you get around to, we meet an evil Morty,
like a genius Morty who is evil. Which is really, really strange.
Yeah, because that's kind of...
Does that mean that the Rick from that universe is an idiot?
No. Well, there is...
There is Doofus Rick.
Doofus Rick, which is J19 Zeta 7.
Nice.
Wow.
The
brain is rattling in my head.
He eats his own shit because he makes friends with Jerry. And he's like, Jerry's a fucking idiot. Okay, like you think Morty is dumb, right? Like you think Morty is dumb, but then you meet Jerry, and you're like, Jerry, you're an idiot. Jerry's a fucking idiot, and Jerry makes friends with J119 Zeta 7, and all of the other Mortys are like, oh, that's fucking adorable. You know, he eats his own shit, right?
Wow,
it's super funny. But yeah, there's okay. So early on, back in season 1. There is an episode where Rick is talking to Morty about, and I really want to focus on season 3, the premiere that just came out, because that's what we're getting ready to roll into. But we need to set some contextual things, and one of those things is the world that Rick and Morty gave up, and this is telling of Rick because you don't know where he's been for the last 20 years, and as I said, he is C-137. And Morty has started to identify himself as Morty C-137 anytime he interacts with other Ricks. But we don't know that that's necessarily true. And there is some speculation that the evil Morty is Rick C-137. We think it's his Morty. The genius evil one, we think it's his. We actually think that it's. I mean, I that's what I think.
Oh no, I wholeheartedly agree. I've thought that since that episode.
Wait, okay, so the one that the show is centered around.
So we're following around C-137.
Yes.
Okay. Rick C-137.
Yes.
And he just steps back into the family that we've been following around from the beginning. Okay.
Right.
And he tethers himself to this world's Morty. And as they're going along, Morty wants Jessica, this girl that's in his school, to fall in love with him. And Rick makes reference to, well, it's just a bunch of chemicals. You know, it's pheromones and things of that nature. It's just science. And he's like, well, can you make like a potion or something like that makes her pheromones, that makes her, fall in love with me? And he does. And he's like, and there's no consequences to this, right? And he's like, nope. And then Morty bounces out the door, and then all of a sudden he mumbles to himself, and he's like, unless she's got the flu, and it's fucking flu season, and she's got the flu, and everybody starts getting this. And so everybody starts falling in love with Morty. All of them. And so then Morty gets back to Rick, and he's like, how do we fix this? And he's like, yeah, we'll just fix this with some pheromones from a praying mantis. And so he like gasses everybody that's exposed to this, and then everybody turns into these praying mantis monsters, and they're like, we still love Morty, now we want to eat his head.
Oh my god.
And then he's like, okay, well, and he starts splicing together a bunch of other DNA strands, and then he gasses everybody, and everybody gets turned into these giant fucking Cronenberg monsters.
Yeah, just some like.
But I was still lost on the Rick attached himself to the evil Morty.
Well, no, that's part of what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Is so season 1, the first episode, Morty's asleep in bed. Rick walks to the door, drags him out of bed.
Right.
That's how we're introduced to them, and from there you start to recognize, because through what Beth, Morty's mom, is saying, which is Rick's daughter, like. He's just come back into our lives. He's been gone for 20-something years. They start laying the groundwork that Rick has been away.
Yeah.
And he's just recently come back. And now he's going on adventures with Morty. Okay?
Yeah.
So you don't really bat an eye at that because at this point in time, you don't know anything about it. Flash forward to this episode, the Cronenberg episode, which is what I'm talking about. This catastrophe happens and the entire world is turned into these monsters with the exception of anyone who shares common,
Common DNA.
corrected, common, like straight across DNA with Morty. So it's like his sister and his mom and dad.
Okay.
So the whole rest of the world gets turned into these giant Cronenberg monsters.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. And Rick's like, well, this planet's screwed. I've got an idea. And he uses these goggles, these headset things. And what he's doing is he's looking into other possible realities where that disaster was averted.
Yeah, other universes.
Wow.
Where that world's Rick and Morty died at a time that is close to when this happened. And then that Rick and Morty, C-137, and this Morty just slide into that world's Rick and Morty spot and then just dance right on like nothing's going on. And they just abandon this other world.
Abandon the other world. They literally portal through into the garage.
As
of
just
this
after.
universe. Yeah. Like you see a newspaper clip in this new universe that they went to that's like...
Disaster.
disaster.
Genetic disaster averted.
Yeah, so like Rick has fixed the world, everything's fine. He's asking Morty to hand him a screwdriver, and they're all talking about how the disaster was averted, we fixed the world. And hands him a screwdriver.
Fucking thing
some
blows up.
random machine that he's working on. He turns a screw, it blows up, and Rick and Morty are like in pieces, like eyeballs hanging out and stuff.
Like
and the second that
fucking
happens,
dead.
The Rick and Morty that we know that
C-137.
follows the show, C-137. Walk through the portal into their world. They bury themselves like their dead bodies in the backyard
yep.
and just take their place and keep going.
So that's season one.
Weird.
That's season one into season two. Now, what that tells us is, or potentially tells us is that Rick. This version of Rick is like, this is something I've done before, right?
And he even said you only get 3 or 4 of these.
Yeah, he's like, we could only do this like three or four more times
times
before whatever. And
okay.
So, but what this insinuates is this Rick potentially has given up on a world before, and Morty makes reference to it because he's showing his sister Summer. He's showing her this at a later point in time. He's like, "This is what you don't get to see. You don't get, He goes, you get to see Rick being the hero. You get to see him doing all this stuff. You don't get to see all the mistakes that he makes. You don't get to see all these bad things that he leaves behind. And he just fucking straight up abandons it because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
So we don't know this to be true because they haven't crossed this bridge yet. But it is speculated that the evil Morty that we cross paths with is C-137's original Morty.
I see. Okay.
And at some point in time in their history that we haven't got to yet, that Morty was tossed to the side or abandoned or something happened. And then that Rick portaled across to this new world and has now tied himself to the current Morty that we're following around. Does that make sense?
Hello.
So, but that's speculative. We haven't actually figured that out yet.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that we needed to get to. The other thing was, and we already crossed it, was at the end of the Cronenberg episode, they buried the Rick and Morty of that world in the backyard.
Uh-huh.
Now, they move forward from there, and they just kind of settle back into life as is. Well, then comes the episode where it's the interdimensional televisions, like interdimensional cable. Like you see cable from all possible realities.
Yep. On
a single TV.
That'd be nifty.
Oh no, it's fucking amazing because he's like, Jerry's like, do we get, it was HBO Extreme.
I think so. Some obscure channel.
He's like, it's like HBO Extreme. He's like, how about HBO Extreme from a planet where everything's
evolved from corn,
where everything's made from corn, and like it's super funny. But then as they're scrolling through, they find a reality where Jerry
is a movie star, and Jerry's like, what the actual fuck?
All right.
And so, like, would you want to watch your alternate reality? Like, of an alternate version of you? Someone who became, like, a movie star? Would you want to sit back and watch that?
I don't know. I honestly don't.
Right? Because it's like...
I feel like there's a part of me that would want to, but at the same time, would be like,
part of me doesn't.
I don't want to see that. It's just going to make me think of everything I failed at.
Exactly. Exactly.
Why would you do that? All the steps that I fucked up that made me not go that direction.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
Yep.
It would just depress me.
Oh my God. It would be so bad.
And then I would act out the ending scene of Immunity.
Right? Where he tries to blow his head off. Yeah, where he tries to melt his head off with that device. No, but what happens is they start looking at all these other realities. And Beth and Jerry are just like enthralled with checking out their other existence. And Beth in one world is she's a surgeon, whereas in this world she's like a horse surgeon, right? Okay. And Jerry's like, I'm an actor. And one of the things that he sees, he's like best friends with Johnny Depp. And
wow.
he's doing drugs with Johnny Depp. And
awesome. I want to do drugs with Johnny Depp.
He's like dating Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
And he's snorting cocaine with Johnny Depp.
Yeah. So he's like, oh my God. But then Summer's sitting right there and she's like, I want to see another version of myself. And so she puts these headsets on. She's like, there's nothing happening. So then she goes to another existence and she's like, we're playing Yahtzee. Because that was like one of the things that they'd recommended. They're like, well, we could check out these other worlds where we play Yahtzee. And they're like, fuck that. So they start checking out these other worlds. Well, then she's like, on this other world, we're playing Yahtzee. And she's like, kind of sucks that in all other existence where you all chose not, because that's the difference is in all of those other worlds where Jerry and Beth are out doing all these like amazing things, there is no Summer. Right? And so she's like, it kind of sucks to know that whenever I'm added to the equation, your life gets like very mundane.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. Ouch.
Right? Kind of stings. And
Kinda?
Heavy to put on a kid.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah. And so then like right in front of her, Jerry and Beth start having this like argument, and Jerry's like, well, maybe I should have talked you out of the abortion. And like, yeah. And so here's Summer in the background like, what the fuck? And so, yeah. She's like, everybody has that thought. Like, that's her mother. She's like, everybody has that thought. Just be happy I was the version of us that didn't do it.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? And so Summer's like, screw all of this. And she's decided she's going to go run away. Well, Morty's like, fuck that. I'm going to help my sister. So Morty goes up and he talks to his sister. And he was like, look, I understand things are hard. No one gets it more than me. And she's like, you don't understand. And he was like,
let me tell you something.
He's like, bitch, please.
Let me lay it out for you.
He's like, do you see that down there? And he points out his grave in the backyard. And he's like, do you see that down there? That is your world's version of Rick and Morty. And they died. I'm not your brother. And like, like fucking. Like,
what a way to take a horrible fucking situation for this poor girl and make it exponentially worse.
But he does it. It like makes it better because he comes to her and he's like, look, you're my sister. Look, I might not be this world's. He's like, but don't run. And he's like, shit's screwed up all the way down the line.
Like
and
nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody's going to die.
And then at the end of it, he's like, come watch TV. And then she's like, okay. Sure. And then she comes downstairs, sits down and watches TV with him. And from that moment forward, we have Rick, Morty, and Summer going on semi-regular adventures with one another.
Yep.
And so it's the three of them now.
Well, that's nice.
Okay. Yeah, it's super great. The only hang-up we ever run into is fucking Jerry. And that's why there's an off-world site. It's an unregistered asteroid
in a cosmic field.
And it's Jerry Baree. It's a fucking daycare for Jerry's.
Well, all of these Ricks drop Jerry's off.
Anytime, because they've got like a form you fill out and you have to like check little boxes. And one of them is like accidentally tags along. One of them's like stowaway. There's reasons why
you go for the drop off because he's annoying.
Wow.
And so you're going through, you fill out, and it is literally an entire facility full of nothing but Jerry's.
I don't know if I can handle a facility full of nothing but me.
Oh, but with this guy, it's super bad, and he meets other versions of himself, right? And
they're all identical too.
Oh yeah.
There aren't really different Jerrys. They are all just Jerry. Like they're all the same.
This is one thing where it's also kind of foreshadowing because you meet a guy named Paul.
Oh, there was dead space for a second.
Paul Fleshman?
Yeah, where the one of the universes that Beth remarries.
Yeah, this guy comes walking up and Jerry's like, who the fuck are you? And he was like, oh, I'm Paul such and such because some infinite timelines, infinite universes, some of them Beth remarries.
Like, don't worry, I treat Morty and Summer just like my own.
He's like, but I don't overstep my bounds.
It's like, I could never replace you, Jerry.
Yeah, it's right. But then season 3 rolls around. So all this stuff is going on. Season 3 rolls around. Oh no, actually, one last thing. There's my absolute, and I want to ask you, Ledge, after I'm done with this. My favorite episode is when Beth and Jerry go to marriage counseling.
That one is that one's up.
That is.
It's hard for me to pick a favorite because I literally like. I mean, they're all drastically different, but I love almost every episode.
You know what else has happened in that episode,
level.
right?
Which one is the marriage counseling episode?
Tiny Rick.
Oh, that's the Tiny Rick
That's
one.
Tiny Rick.
That's right.
So
Tiny
Rick transfers his consciousness into a clone youth version of himself. Because there are vampires in the high school where Rick and Morty are going to, and they want to kill the vampires. And so Summer's like, couldn't you like put your consciousness into a young version of yourself and
like come to high school with us and help us hunt the
And of
vampire?
course he does it.
Well, at first he's like,
why the fuck would I ever want to do that?
yeah, he's like, no. And then later on, he's like, he just shows up as Tiny Rick, and they're like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I got bored, and then I remember that thing that Summer asked me to do.
Wow.
But while all of that is happening while they're at the school, which that doesn't even become the main focus. The vampires are just kind of a background thing.
Well, and it never even shows the vampires yet.
Well, it does at the very, very, very end. The post-credit scene. But with that episode, you're exposed to Operation Phoenix. Was it Phoenix? No, it was Operation. I don't know if it's Operation Phoenix, but it's Project Phoenix or something like that.
Phoenix.
Where basically Rick is trying to figure out a way to just live forever. And that's what this, youthful thing is supposed to be. And that's where Tiny Rick comes from and all that good stuff. But the focus, or my favorite part of this, there are two parts. One of it has to do with a discussion between Summer and Morty. I'll get to that in a second. And the other one is the focus on the relationship between Beth and Jerry. And they go to this planet where they're like, we're going to create life images, like actual constructs of how your mind perceives your lover. And so they hook Jerry into this machine, and it's like this giant queen xenomorph version of her.
It's like spider xenomorph type thing.
And she's like, "Wah!" And Beth's like immediately like, you don't think that. Don't you fucking think, like she loses her shit, right?
Proving it right.
Right. And then they plug her in, and it's her subconscious, how she perceives
perception of Jerry.
And it's literally like this worm. It's like this worm slug thing. And it's like, and he's like cowering. And actual Jerry's like, do you see what I'm talking about? Wow. And the counselor's like, we all see what you're talking about.
Wow.
The problem is that their constructs become codependent, and they start working with one another. And the queen xenomorph version of Beth wants she wants an army of slug Jerrys, because she's like, the gravity, their servitude, how they are, is indispensable for me, because I can create an army of just subservient Jerrys and just take over everything.
Anything I say at any
point.
And of course, Beth's like, well, why don't you catch my husband and make just photocopies of your badass self? And she's like, because there can only be one of me, because I am stronger, smarter, and faster, because Jerry believes that you're stronger, smarter, faster than you really are.
Wow.
Dude, it gets so deep and so crazy.
Yeah, that really sends your head spinning.
It's fucking awesome. Well, then later on in that same episode, Jerry shows up and starts doing something heroic. And so Beth's strapped in this machine where she's been accidentally making these slug Jerrys over and over and over again. And instead, she sees her husband doing something heroic. And so like this like shirtless, super buff version of Jerry's like, jumps in and starts like whipping shit out of everything. And Jerry's like, that's it. I figured it out. That's how we're going to beat this thing. Right. And fucking... He insults Beth because he's trying to like get her free, and Beth's like, you can't bend steel. And he's like, then make a version of me that can bend steel. And she's like, how can I make a version of you that can bend steel when I'm actively watching you not able to bend steel?
Wow.
And he's like, heart of an insect and whatever. Well, one of the perfect Jerrys, the big muscly R ones, one of the perfect Jerrys is like, don't speak about her that way. And so he removes the fucking helmet thing from his wife and puts it on the perfect Jerry, who creates the construct of how the perfect Jerry perceives the perfect Beth. And it becomes like this like
all-powerful God.
And this deity shows up, and she's like, this representation does not please me, and just fucking destroys the xenomorph version of her.
Wow.
Like, it's super awesome, right?
Jesus.
That is insane.
No, it is wonderful how seamlessly all this goes together, but there's a line. It's not even a whole thing. The line between Morty and Summer about get your shit together. Because Beth or Summer is freaking out about something, and Morty's like, you need to get your shit together. Get all your shit together and put it in a backpack. This way, all your shit's together, okay? Get your shit together. And if you have to take it somewhere, take your backpack and take it to someplace and get rid of your shit, but get your shit together. Like, it just, and how it's said is so fucking funny because he does it like 6 or 7 times. Like, at one point in time, he like walks out of the room
and then comes back.
And then comes back in. And he's like, get your shit together.
Wow.
But you see the entire time, and the counselor actually says it directly to them. He's looking at Beth and Jerry, and he's like, I don't understand how you two got together. I don't understand how you two continue to be together. And I don't understand why the hell you two continue to stay together.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what the... It's just mind-boggling, right? Well, season 3 comes out, and at the end of season 2, Bird Person dies. There's this wedding, and it's all these, wanted individuals for the Galactic Federation, and it's an ambush, and everybody's caught. And at the end of the episode, Rick does something that you perceive to be selfless, and he turns himself in, and he's like, "Yeah, my name's Jerry Smith of Earth, and I'm on this planet, and this is where Rick's gonna be." And Rick straight up turns himself in, and you're like, "Holy shit!" Because there's these moments go back and forth on whether or not Rick's actually a good guy or not.
If he's just a piece of shit.
If he's just a fucking monster, and he's only looking out for himself, and you're like, "Holy shit!" And he's in prison by the end of season 2, and everybody's like, "Where the fuck are they gonna go with this?" Well, then this rolls out, and turns out it was all a part of the plan, because fucking it starts off with they're in a fucking Shoney's, and they're just sitting around, and it's Rick and Beth sitting next to him, and Morty's there, and all of them are there, and they're having this discussion, and he's like, Beth's like, well, let's go home, and he's like, emotionally
speaking, Shoney's is my home.
And Jerry starts to argue with him, and he's like, Jerry, stand up, take your shirt off, and fold yourself 12 times. And he does. He fucking stands up and starts like folding himself. And you're like watching, you're like, what the fuck? And he only gets 6. And he's like, 6 times. He's like, you must have me in. And he names off some type of brainalizer. And because he knows he's being interrogated by the Federation.
None of that's real. It kind of... It's a whole Inception thing.
Yeah.
Like he's in his own mind. They're not actually in a real Shoney's, and his mind's being accessed through some brainalizer or some technology that the Galactic Federation possesses. Okay. And has put someone else in his mind. And they were they're
trying to pull out information on the portal gun.
Yes, the portal gun that he creates, because there is only one of those portal guns in apparently every infinite universe ever from anyone.
And it's
Rick
always
is
Rick.
Rick
is the only person who's ever
made one.
Yep.
Okay.
And they want this technology, right?
I could see how a lot of people would.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Morty out in the world without Rick. And they're on Earth, and Earth has been taken into the Galactic Federation. Jerry's been given a fucking job. He's been jobless like the entire time we've known him. Everyone on Earth is now being heavily medicated. Everyone
is paid in pills.
Yeah, you're paid in pills.
Wow.
Like for the Galactic Federation, every job. Now everyone is given a job, but then every person's job, like they pay you in pills.
In pills to keep you nice and docile.
Wow.
You buddy. So here we are, and Rick finally starts to give some backstory about himself, and you're like, oh my god. And some of it's like super depressing, right? Like you're watching it and like he's doing technology stuff and he's got a portal, but it doesn't function the way we're used to seeing it. And
he's basically just trying to like, he's looking back at a quote unquote memory of his past. And then you see, and he's like, his hairstyle's a little different. And he's got blue pants on. He even makes a comment. He's like, yeah, it's back when I used to wear blue pants.
Yeah.
He's trying to make something. He's not actually trying to make a portal gun to travel to different
He's making
dimensions.
teleportation.
He's trying to make teleportation. So he like shoots 2 blue portals on the wall and like throws an apple through one and it comes out the other one. It's like
all
disintegrated and rotten and such.
And then another version of Rick shows up.
Steps through a portal to
because this interrogator, this alien dude that's with him, he's like this. They look like crickets, kind of.
Okay.
They're like these bug creatures. And he's got these little mandible thingies.
Ew.
And they as he gets excited, they start flipping.
Click.
He's like, "Oh, your little doodads are." And he actually calls him. He's like, "Your little doodads are starting to like go crazy." He's like, "Is that arousal or have you got the signal that somebody's found a grape?"
That's arousal.
That's arousal. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, while they're watching this, the portal gun, he's like, so this is where you invent the portal gun. He's like, I didn't invent it.
I did.
And then this other Rick shows up, right? It's super weird. He's like, I didn't invent it. I did. And then another Rick shows up.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And so, long story short on all of that, there's an explosion that kills Beth and
well, hold on, let's delve just a little deeper into this because basically he's talking to this Rick. Now, as we know, this is just a memory from the C-130.
You throw up little airstrikes.
Yeah.
This is a memory.
This is a quote unquote memory from C-137.
Yes,
or is it C-136?
This is C-137 because
C-137.
He refuses the Citadel at this point in time. He
Yes.
refuses the Council of Ricks.
So this Rick has come into, this is a memory that we're watching of C-137 of him in younger days. And this other Rick shows up through this portal gun and is like, hey, you just need to invent, basically, or once you invent teleportation, you'll realize that you're the only one in the universe that will ever invent teleportation. And is talking like,
he's like,
basically, you will obtain infinite knowledge. There will be an infinite number of you. You will be basically the most powerful creature
you will
in
be
the
a
universe.
god.
Yeah, you will be a god. And that Rick is like,
nope.
Pass.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll pass.
And he's like, Ricks don't pass on
this. He's like, what are you?
He's like, I'm a different kind of Rick.
Kind of Rick.
Yeah. He's like, I'm a different kind of Rick.
Wow.
And he decides like, no. And
the other Rick's like, yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. And like shoots a portal and goes back through the portal. The second that other Rick goes back through the portal, Rick, which is the first time you've ever seen, or I think even heard her name, Rick's wife at the time, which is Beth's mom, her name is Diane. Like, she walks out in the garage.
She's like, I heard sci-fi noises.
Did you make a breakthrough? And he tells Diane, he's like, yeah, I think I'm just...
He goes, I had a long, hard look at myself.
Yep.
And I don't think this science thing is going to work out for me. Like, he's giving it up, right?
Yeah, going to stop science altogether. And Diane's like, oh, okay, well, we'll go get some ice cream. That'll cheer everyone up. And he's like, that is the last greatest, or the last good idea that will ever happen in this garage.
Yep. And so they're getting ready to load up in the car. A portal opens up. A bomb drops through.
As Beth and Diane are walking out to the car, Rick's in the car, blows up, kills them. And then you see Rick laying there, like, screams,
he's like
obviously rather
like
distraught because that's his wife and child that just died in front of him. You see him rush over, he's writing some numbers on the ground, and you watch him invent, like, get the math correct and invent the portal gun. For whatever reason, I guess to try to stop himself, maybe, from doing that to begin with.
To track down the guy that did, where this fucking bomb came from.
Knows?
Like, there's a lot of questions there. Well, as soon as the math is done, the interrogating insect dude comes walking over and he's like, and I don't remember what those things are called.
Glimflorps.
Yeah, I don't fucking remember. Anyway, so he walks over and he looks at the math on this thing and he's like, is this it? And you know, the Rick we've been following, the one that's in prison, he's like, that's it. That's the 3 lines of math that separate me from an unfeeling god, or
separate me from being, or from man to an unfeeling ghost.
That's what it is, an unfeeling ghost. And he's like, okay, cool. And he takes a picture of it. And he's like, you guys getting this?
That's all that we need.
And they're like, that's it. And so he's like, all right, pull me out. You guys hear me? Pull me out. And then Rick starts laughing. He's like, that's not the portal gun code. That's a virus that allowed me to take over the brainalyzer. And all of a sudden,
dude's like, but you can't alter details of memories.
And he's like,
you're right, but I can alter a completely fabricated origin story.
And the walls fall away,
down
and they're still in the Shonies. He's like, oh God, it's a trap. We never left the Shonies.
Oh my God.
So then Rick's like, all right, well, I'm going to peace out in your brain. I'm going to leave you here in my dying brain. And he's like, but there's not enough room for all my intelligence inside your mind, so I'm going to leave you with my fear of wicker baskets.
Yeah,
Wow.
fear of wicker baskets, 7 years of improv class. What did he say? Something about some intention to buy a hat.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, and so he's like, I'm going to leave you with all this shit, and boy, and then he pieces out, and then like the next thing you know, this fucking cricket dude pops up, and he's like, I'm the best insect alien ever. It's like very clearly Rick.
Rick and the insects. Yeah.
Wow.
Rick's consciousness in the insect.
Well, all of this is happening, and Rick and Morty and Summer's all about trying to go bust Rick out of jail. And Morty's like, we're doing okay. You don't understand. And so Summer's convinced that Morty just doesn't give a fuck about Rick anymore. And he kind of doesn't. But at the same time, I mean, because Rick's just a fucking asshole to him constantly.
That's true.
But at the same time, it's not that he doesn't care, because he still goes with him. He still cares about him. It's just, he's just like, it's kind of like this give, love, take thing. You know, he's just like, you're an asshole. I don't like you, but I'm going to be there. And it's super weird. But he starts trying to make a point, because Summer starts going off on how Rick is like a hero. She's like, you know,
like Rick has to have some sort of like secret lab somewhere with like tanks or spaceships, so we can go break him out.
She's convinced that this is a thing. And Morty's like, no, you don't understand. He gives up on everybody. We should give up on him. And he's like, and if I haven't made this clear, he gave up on you. We left this other world. You want the one that's dependable? You want the one that is all this? He's
hands her a shovel.
He's buried in the backyard. And so he's like, what is it?
Ghoulish overkill.
She's like, you're right. And she runs out in the backyard with a shovel. And he's like, it's ghoulish overkill. I didn't mean it.
Like,
and she starts digging up dead Rick's
body.
Oh.
You know why?
No.
Because he has a portal gun.
It's in his pocket.
Oh, no.
So she grabs this fucking portal gun, and they end up sliding back through into Cronenberg world.
Yeah, Morty. Well, she's trying to figure something out, and Morty's like, "Here, you want to see something? Let me show you this."
Yeah, you want to see how fucking Rick handles shit and how much he cares, and they slide back through to Cronenberg world,
which was the original Morty that we've seen was their world that got all screwed up with the whole love potion thing and turned everyone into praying mantises and then other monsters. Yeah, so they fall back into Cronenberg world through this portal.
Yup, where you meet now Savage, Jerry, Beth, and Summer.
Hunger Games Summer.
Yeah, they call her Hunger Games Summer.
I like Hummer Games Summer better.
So, yeah. So, because it is getting close to the end of the episode here, I'm going to bypass a handful of things that have occurred. Okay?
Gotcha.
Ultimately, we end up relinking up with Rick.
It's almost over? How much longer do we have?
Well, it's like a minute till 8. We got about 10 minutes left to the end of the episode, and I'm just making sure that everybody's on time for all the things they need to get done.
All right.
So, we end up linking back up with the Citadel of Rick's, because they show up because they detect a compromised portal gun. Rick and or Summer and Morty get taken there, and they dispatch SEAL Team Rick. Yeah,
It's
called SEAL Team Rick.
Oh
they
my God.
SEAL Team Rick to the prison where our Rick is being held.
This is like Barbie, where there's like a shit ton of versions of her.
Yeah, they send SEAL Team Rick there to kill him because they don't want his information falling into the Galactic Federation's hands.
And our Rick ends up taking over using the same brain analyzer thing. He ends up taking over the body of one of the Ricks that has shown up. So now he's back in a Rick body.
In a Rick body, at least.
It's just not his. It's just a Rick body.
Okay.
And because he left all of his improv stuff in the brain of the insect dude that just got shot in the head, he's like, great, now I forgot how to improvise. And so he has to find a way. He's trying to topple the government is what he's trying to do. And he ends up doing that by going back to the Citadel of Rick's, and he teleports the entire Citadel into the prison.
Into the Galactic Federation.
It just was like they both occupy the same space now. And he ends up getting into where this is at. And so he ends up through a standoff of awesome variety.
Oh, yes.
He gives Morty a gun, and Morty doesn't read the note that's on the gun. And there's this standoff where Summer's being held hostage by one of the higher up versions of Rick. And he's sitting here drawing down on him. And he's like, you love your grandkids? And he's like, no. He's like, I don't. And he's like, yes, I do. He's like, you are literally gambling with Disneyland money because we have an infinite number of grandchildren. You're holding hostage someone I don't give a shit about because there's an infinite number of them.
Yeah.
And so Summer's like, holy shit, he's
not
serious.
bluffing.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Well, fucking Morty finally gets fed up with it, and he's like, I'm not going to let you do this. And he draws down on C-137, our Rick. And he's like, God damn it, Morty. You're really screwing things up right now. And he's like, I wasn't going to let her die. Well, the one that's holding Summer hostage is like,
I knew it.
I was totally on. He was totally convinced that you were okay with letting her die. He's like, I was totally on board with this. Well, our Rick gets shot in the head by our Morty.
Oh, boy.
And fucking Summer screams. She's like, oh my God, we just got him back. And so, the Citadel Rick, the leader
Lets Summer
one,
go.
lets her go. And he's like, all right, let's get this over with. And then who we thought was shot in the head, C-137, fucking shoots that dude in the skull. And then he's got a little laser blast right here in the middle of his forehead that he rubs off. And they're like, what the hell? And then he shows Summer the gun. It's got a note on the side. It's like, fake gun, shoot me during standoff.
Morty's like, oh yeah, I'm sure glad I read that note.
Yeah. Right.
Because he didn't read the note.
Of course not.
He was like everybody. There's like 2 minutes worth of them screaming, you're a fucking idiot, Morty. God, you're so fucking dumb. Like, they're just losing everyone. I mean, it's like the council Rick,
Summer,
C-137. Wow. Everybody's like, you're such a fucking idiot. And all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah? Boom.
What do you
Who's
think
a
of that,
fucking
bitch?
idiot now, bitch?
Wow.
He just fucking goes off on him.
Jeez.
And then he's like, wow, yeah, super glad I saw that note stuck on there.
Yeah.
So they end up getting away. And the whole reason that they were actually trying, the only reason he crashes the Citadel into the jail is because he's able to go in and tamper with a piece of information. That piece of information is he changes the dollar amount of what their galactic currency is worth from 1 of itself to 0 of itself.
Oh, wow.
So its money is literally worth nothing.
Wow.
And it goes to this other scene where it's like this presidential, room full of all these insect people, and they're all having this discussion, and the president's like, dispatch the militia and do this, and the militia leader's like, okay, no problem. What do I pay them with? And he's like, one of the other guys is like, they can get paid with
the honor and pride of
who's paying me to yell at this guy? And some other dude's like, I can answer that question for money.
For money.
But it's all of that is a throwback to this other episode way back in the series. It's a Purge episode where at the end of it they're trying to figure out how it's a purge planet. In the movie The Purge is. Yeah, it's a purge planet. There are several of them, and fucking Rick thinks they're fantastic. But at the end of it, they're like, "How are we going to create a government out of all of this?" And he's like, "Well, I can have people do this for food." And somebody else is like, "Well, who's going to keep track who owes who's food?" And he's like, "I could do that for food,
for more food, of course."
He overthrows the Galactic Empire.
So he's destroyed the Council of Ricks now.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure he hasn't killed every Rick, but the Citadel is destroyed.
He destroyed the Council of Ricks with the Citadel.
Yep.
Probably not all the Ricks, and definitely not all the Mortys. He's taken out and overthrown the federal government.
Yep.
He ends up going home, and Beth and Jerry are standing there, and Jerry is like, "Nope, that's it. I'm putting my foot down." Well,
me or him?
Yeah. He draws a fucking line, and Beth is now faced with this choice of her dad or Jerry, and by the end of it, she chooses Rick because Jerry, she's like, "You're useless, right? Like you run through all of the things." So it was like it was the most natural decision to make.
Yeah,
it really didn't make a whole lot of sense to do anything different.
Spend some time
divorced. And so that's how this episode ends. And this is that moment where Rick has, throughout the entirety of the episode, you're like, he cares about his grandkids, right? He saves them. He deliberately saves them. Like, you're like on board with him. The whole time you're like, he saves his grandkids. He overthrows the government. He makes it back home to Beth. Everything is awesome. He loves his family, right? End of the episode rolls around and Beth's like, Jerry's gone. I'm going to leave you guys to your adventures. And as soon as everybody's out of the way, it's just Rick and Morty, and Rick gets a hold of him and he was like, let me explain to you why I really saved you.
I have now overthrown your family.
He goes, I overthrew the government. I toppled your dad. See, back there at season 2, episode 2, there's this scene where this other character named Gearhead betrays Rick. And Rick says, I want everyone here to remember 2 things. What are those 2 things?
Never betray me.
Yep.
And it's time to go.
Yep. Those are the 2 things, right?
He said it in a very foreshadowy way.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
He's
like, I need everyone in this room to understand 2 things.
Never betray me.
Never betray me.
And it's time to go.
Yeah.
Here we are at the end of season 2, and Jerry's like, we need to turn your dad into the government, right? And then Rick turns himself in, claiming to be Jerry Smith that has done this, right? Here we are, season 3. He overthrows the government. He takes dad out of the equation. He flat out looks at Morty, and he was like, your dad tried to betray me, and I took him out of the equation.
Yeah, but never your dad. You know why? Because he crossed me.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, it's going to be you and me and Summer and sometimes your mom going on adventures, but never your dad. Do you know why? Because he crossed me. And he flat out starts going off on it. He's like, look, this is what it is. The government tried they ambushed me. They did all of this. This is all the things that ended up happening. No more. And he's like, I am now the patriarch. And I'm the leader, and if you try to tell anybody that, he's like, this is the real reason I brought you and your sister back home, because your mother would never accept me back if I didn't. And right
lays
there,
it out to make you think that yeah, he definitely. Like,
but
even though
you can tell he
cares
cares about Beth.
That's true.
Because he's immediately like, she would never accept me back if I didn't bring you 2 back with me.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of stuff that's getting ready to happen with it. I hope you check out the show.
After this conversation, I think I'm going to have to.
Yeah, I know. It's super awesome.
So incredible.
Super
Is it all
awesome.
on Netflix?
It is on
first two seasons are on Hulu.
Hulu.
Yes.
Hulu, okay.
I personally do not watch it on Hulu because I hate ads.
Yeah, everybody hates ads.
But I will not recommend some of the more nefarious ways that I go about watching.
I'm sure there's ways to accomplish it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure I use the same nefarious word.
I'm sure you probably do.
So I think right here at the end of the episode, we've kind of drilled all of this stuff into what it needs to be, in my opinion. Dire Monkey, you have anything you want to add to the end of the episode here, or anything for Spellbook Studios?
I think we covered it in the beginning.
Fantastic.
Do have some new projects in the pipeline, so
Yeah.
keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, you guys get over and check them out. Like, subscribe to all their stuff. Check out the other shows that we do. Check out Flick Freaks and our friends over at Geek.0. Our good friend Sean Michael over there Sean's doing all sorts of really cool things. He's never watched The Simpsons.
What?
And, yeah. And
What?
Yeah. And so he's gone back.
Is he human?
Oh yeah. After
know.
after some brief coaching, we've convinced him to go back and watch all of The Simpsons. So he's actually watching 30 years of The Simpsons. And then
Oh, Lord.
yeah.
That's going to take him a while.
Yeah, well, he's burning through it, and he's
In what
like,
universe has somebody on this planet not watched?
that's what I thought. I was
Simpsons.
like, no. He's like, oh, I'm
I
not.
can count on one hand the number of episodes I've seen.
Well,
Yeah.
so have I, but to
You've
not
seen
seen
it.
any.
Yeah, he's like it's burp and fart jokes, and I'm not down with it, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, you are not.
If he
understanding
watches
what that
Family Guy, then that argument is
I was like,
invalid.
no, I was like, that's not what this is. So check out his commentary. He's going to be doing videos, posting up what his thoughts are and things of that nature. Mr. Ledge, you have anything you want
I
to
do
add?
have one more thing.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to quite comprehend how awesome Rick and Morty is and like the cultural impact that they have, McDonald's is going to bring back a signature sauce that they released in 1998 as a promotion for the movie Mulan.
As a result of season 3, season 3, episode 1.
I don't understand the connection. Mulan and Rick and Morty?
Rick and Morty, as he's having this flashback, and this will be the last thing I talk about, and then we'll close this out. During the flashback, Rick is like, everything we're witnessing right now is 1998. And they go to this McDonald's, and he's like, they were doing this promotional sauce for Mulan.
Szechuan sauce.
This Szechuan sauce. And it is like the tastiest sauce ever. And I love it. And so it's in his memory. He's like, they don't make it anymore, and the only place we can have this is in my memory. So they, like, in this drive-thru, he's like, give me as much as you possibly can. And so
Wow.
like they're making this big deal about this Szechuan sauce in Rick and Morty, season 3, episode 1, Rick and Morty.
They've made such a big deal about it that McDonald's is now doing it.
McDonald's is actually
Wow.
right.
They bring back the McRib every other week. So
That's because
That's
that's
true.
the McRib, but this has been gone since
been
mid
gone for
1990,
almost 20 years now.
Yeah. You know, and here's Rick and Morty going, "Hey, motherfuckers,
Bring this back."
And
McDonald's
by God,
brought it.
right? So that's what all of that is, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening with me. Allie, I'm super glad having you back on.
I'm
again.
glad I'm back too.
So we're gonna have to continue to have you back on now that schedules have lined up the way
Yes.
they have.
Next episode, let's have something I can Comment on more.
Oh, well, I've been trying.
Something I can actually discuss.
I told Ledge we're going to get in here. We're going to really try to sell this whole watching Rick and Morty business.
Well, you've sold it well.
So-
I would just like something that I can contribute to the
Shaboy.
Yeah,
the
well,
subject
maybe
matter.
maybe we can talk about like Archer or something.
Oh, yeah.
But only the
Yeah.
new season.
Danger zone! Danger zone!
Love it. Love everything about it. That might be a thing. You never
All right,
know.
let's close this out. Dick nuts.
All right, let's go. All right, guys, have a good night.
Bye.
I pooped.